guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Brandy here with another video. I am so excited to be coming to you guys today with a life update. So if you are new here, welcome. Make sure you go ahead and join the family, hit the subscribe button, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for supporting me. Okay, you guys, so I know y'all like, Brandy, where have you been? Where you been? But don't worry, we're gonna get into all the tea today. Okay, so I'm gonna be giving you guys a little life update, just to kind of let y'all know like what's been going on with me, like where have I been, and yeah, so let's just get into it. I also have my little guy here because I will go off on a tangent and just be talking, so I had to make sure that I put everything in my notes. So if y'all see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. Today we're going to be talking about my battle with postpartum, failed relationships, and just creating the life I desire, right? Like what my everyday life looks like and how I am now creating the life that I dream of. The first thing that we're going to talk about is my battle with postpartum, because it's been such a minute. It's been a minute since I've been on here. So a lot of people like don't really know like what happened, like what transpired between like then and now. So basically I went through postpartum depression, and it really didn't hit me until after Callie was like maybe 7 or 8 months. That's when I started realizing like, okay, something's wrong. Just because when it started with like weight gain and things of that nature. That's when I started to notice like, okay, I'm getting beside myself. I just used to be sad. I had gained a lot of weight, and everything, it felt like what something, the way I described it to my therapist was, it felt like fires were everywhere in my life. Like it just felt like a bunch of fires, right? And like I had no control over anything. I had no control over my life. That just sent me into a tizzy. So I will say I was just like, I wasn't okay with how I looked. Like I didn't like looking at myself. I just felt like life was really chaotic, you know? Like it's like, now I enjoyed motherhood, you know, like I love my baby, of course, but I was just like, I can't get a grasp of like the balance, you know what I mean, like between Brandy and Brandy the mom, right? Like I couldn't grasp it all. I was having a hard time grasping motherhood. And also I was just doing poorly at work, which was not like me. Like normally at work, like I'm on top of everything, but it has just gotten to a point where I was like, I can't deal with this. So yeah, that's when I realized like I had postpartum, and then the weight gain, of course, because after I had her, I had dropped all of my baby weight, and then like months later I was starting to gain a lot of weight, right? And so for me, having no routine is really what I feel like fueled my postpartum depression. Like lack of breaks, like getting breaks and everything. But it was like I had people around me who would be like, you know, if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Or if Callie needs anything, like, you know, if you need any help. I had people in my corner who were willing to help, but I just didn't want to be a burden to like anybody else, right? So I would never ask for help. Like I didn't want to feel like I'm being a burden. Like this is my baby, this is my responsibility, and that's just how I felt. So even though, you know, I had those people who were willing to step in whenever I needed it. So I struggled with that, and then it was really like the no routine thing that kind of really did it for me. So when I would wake up in the morning, Callie would wake up in the morning. When I would go to sleep at night, Callie would go to sleep at night. So there was no like me time, right? And then it also like having to work a lot. So on my off days, they're catered to me being a mom, because Callie wasn't in daycare. So during the week, my grandma would be watching her like while I'm at work, and my grandma watched Callie while I worked like well until she was over 1. Like she was almost 2, until that's when she started going to daycare. Like she literally, it wasn't until she was almost 2. So all this time had went by, and like I wasn't getting any breaks, because again on my off days, you know, I'm being a mom, and then on the days that I have to work, I'm waking up, Callie's waking up, I'm getting her ready, taking her to my grandma, going to work, getting out of work, picking my baby straight up, and we're going home, and she's not going to sleep till like 10 or 11 o'clock when I go to sleep. So it was just like really no time for me, you know what I mean? Like I did not have any mental clarity. Things were just foggy. I was just like, I'm not myself anymore. Like I don't know how to get a grasp into motherhood. And like having her a routine and just like organization, I had lost control of everything. So I was like, something has to give, because at this point I'm not even gonna like talk about the process. Like, all of this was happening while I was in the process of trying to purchase my first home as well. So it was just so difficult for me. I was just like, I just wanted to be in the house, and I felt like once I get that house, that's gonna provide me with more stability, of which it did in a way, but there was still no routine. You understand what I'm saying? And that's so pivotal. I know I keep saying routine. Y'all are gonna soon realize, like, me and routines are like this. Like, I can't function. It's just chaos to me when there is no routine. So also, like, no help. So I will say I had like my mom, my grandma, Callie's godparents, you know what I mean, like help, like trying to help and trying to assist. But as far as like in the household, no ma'am. No ma'am. And I feel like that's gonna lead me into my next topic, which is like failed relationships. But I feel like that was really like the icing on the cake, because nothing is worse than being with, you know, there's someone who is physically capable here, and you don't feel like you're getting the help that you deserve, right? And so I think that was like a really big issue for me as well, because it's like in my mind, you know, I'm like, oh, I could just be doing this all on my own versus carrying my burden, your burden, the burden of like just all this other stuff. So at that point I was starting to grow irritated, like I was starting to grow more and more irritated, because I'm like, what is the point of you being here? Like, what's the point of you being here? And I know that sounds kind of harsh, and it's not like let me just go ahead and go into failed relationships. So the relationship that I was in with Callie's dad, good person, you know, good person. I don't want this to be like a bash my baby dad session, because that's not what this is at all. It was just a clear, like, we're not for each other, you know what I mean? And she's here now, so we have to like just figure this out. But I personally felt, you know, I was not happy. I was not happy in a relationship. I didn't feel like I was getting what I deserved. There were just, you know, differences amongst us that now that I've had the baby, it has shed a lot of light on, right? And at this point, I'm like, again, I'm not thriving, I'm not evolving. I feel stagnant, I feel stuck, I feel just all of these emotions, and I'm like, something has to change. Like, you get tired of constantly trying to tell someone what you need and what will make it better and not seeing any results. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So it's like, you will eventually grow tired and you will figure it out. Now, for me personally, and it's hard because it's like, oh my God, like, I don't want to be a single mom. Like, it was just, I was so conflicted, because on one end it was like, oh my God, I do not want to be a single mom. But then on the other end, it's like, this is not serving me. Like, this is not beneficial at all. It's like I'm stuck in the middle, one foot in the door and one foot out. So it's like, I have to make a decision. But again, there was nothing that really prompted me to make that decision other than frustration at the moment. And I had been frustrated, right? So it was like something had to happen in order for me to be like, no, like, I draw the line, I'm done, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm not. And y'all, it was so funny because this happened Valentine's Day, right? Like, any other time, Valentine's Day would be such a good holiday. Like, it would just be, you know what I'm saying, like a vibe. I always had a good Valentine's Day, like, period. For this particular one, it was just not the same, right? So I'm like, the date was like poorly planned. The date was poorly planned. We got to the restaurant late. I had to make the reservation. So I'm just, at this point, I'm just like irritated. You understand me? I'm irritated because I'm like, I should be getting way more than I was getting before, because now I'm a mother. You feel what I'm saying? Like, what? I'm a mother now. Like, you should, this is the time that you need to be going all out. So I was already irritated because I'm like, I've been doing everything around this piece, and this is what you came up with. This is what you came up with. Yeah, no. So I was already irritated on Valentine's Day. And y'all, it's so funny because, okay, on my phone, I had the email on my phone. It was my email, his email, and then like my email, I had started to create like content around this time. This was like right around the time literally that I started to create content. So I had made another email, right? And I had them on my phone. I had all the emails on my phone. So I was trying to check, we was on the way home, and I was trying to check my content creator email. And so on Google it shows like all three, like when you're trying to change it, when you're trying to switch the account, it shows like all of them. So I made a mistake and clicked his, and the first thing I seen was like something from Cash App or whatever, and I'm just like, what's this? So immediately I'm like, what's this? What you got going on? Like what? So that ended up being an entire thing, and from there it was over with. It was over with because it was just like chaos, like lying, and just I knew something wasn't right. And I'm like, if you think for 1 second there's a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying, like that, at that point I would have tolerated, you feel me? But when it comes to like other people, don't play with me. You're done. Like I'm not playing that. I'm not doing it. I'm out the door. You got it. You understand what I'm saying? That we can communication issues, stuff like that, okay. But when it comes to other people, you bringing other people into the mix, I have to remove myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to remove myself, and it's just what it is. Again, I was sad, right? I was like, I ended up being so sad because I'm like, wow, it wasn't, for me, it wasn't even the, oh my God, like I'm so in love with you, like I want this family. For me, it was the audacity. It was the audacity for me, because I'm like, excuse me, like everything that I've, you know what I'm saying? And that is why that will never ever happen again, period. Like I'm telling you now, ladies, if you feel like that, wipe your hands and go. Because you can't force someone to appreciate you or to see the value in whatever it is you feel like you bring. You understand me? Like they have to already see that. Don't try to convince anyone of why it should be you. Don't do none. I didn't do none of that, because at the end of the day, you know, and you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel it, and I'm gonna make sure you feel it. I had to make a decision. I was like, okay, yeah, this is it. Like again, I told y'all I had already been frustrated, and that wasn't enough for me to be like, yeah, I'm finna leave, like I'm done. I knew in my mind, I'm like, something's gonna have to happen for me to just be like, no, like I'm done. So yeah, that's what happened. And from that point on, it was like a lot of going back and forth, you know. It was like a lot of going back and forth, and like for me, again, it was the audacity. I was like really in disbelief. Yeah, I was just really in disbelief of the entire situation, and I just felt like I was better than that. You know what I mean? Like I was like, no, like I have to have some respect for myself, and I've had enough. Like I've had enough, and that's where I drew the line. That's where I drew the line, and I was like, yeah, you gotta go. And once that happened, again, for a while I was really sad. I had to take off work because again, it was like my relationship life. I'm going through postpartum depression. My work life, I don't feel like I'm thriving at work. Like it was just chaos. So I was like, yeah, you know what, I have to take a break. So I ended up taking 6 weeks off of work, and I got therapy. This goes into my topic of me like creating my dream life, basically. So I had to, after that had happened, like all that drama with, you know, me and her dad, and like I had to make the decision that I didn't want to do this anymore. It was so much, like it was so much. And I'm like, now I have this house, and it's just me and Callie in this freaking 5-bedroom house alone. Like what am I gonna do? You know, like everything, I went from 2 incomes to 1, and I'm not happy. Like you gonna have to do a whole 180 for me to be like, okay, I want to make this work. And we know that men don't do that, okay? Well, they do sometimes, but it's rare. I took the 6 week off from work, and I got a therapist, and I started to slowly pick myself up by the bootstraps. I started to slowly get my life back together. And again, I took those 6 weeks off. Callie wasn't in daycare at this point. My mom came and stayed with me, just because when I tell you I was going through it. And I thank God, like God really blessed me with an amazing mother, an amazing grandmother, an amazing aunt. Like my family came to my rescue. They came to my rescue because I was hurting to the depths of my soul. Like I had this baby, and it's like I'm just so unhappy with myself. I'm so unhappy with life. Like I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't know which turn to make. I don't know what's what. Like I don't know what's what. I don't know where I go from here. I don't know how I go from here. And my family came to my rescue. My mom came and stayed with me, helped me out with Callie. I took 6 weeks off from work and I just got myself together. I got in the gym and I started on the routines. I started to create a routine. I got up every day because I knew I was going to have to go back to work. But I got up every day as if I was going to work, and I did things throughout the day that would be work. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm like, okay, when I go back to work, I gotta have this routine like down pat. My life changed, like, ever since that moment. My life has gotten better just by having a routine. I was like, okay, you know what? I started researching how much amount of sleep toddlers need. So I want to make sure she's getting the correct amount of sleep. I'm planning my routine around this. Fire. My mom was like, we have to put her in daycare. Girl, I boo-hooed. I was like, daycare? Daycare, no. Like, no, my baby cannot go to daycare. I was so against daycare. I was like, no. So, girl, we went and toured so many daycares, and I liked one. My mama didn't like it. So, it was just a bunch of going back and forth. So, we finally came across one that we all agreed upon. And I like it still to this day. She goes there, and it's okay. But yeah, so she started daycare because my mom was like, that's the first thing. My mom was like, she has to go to daycare, but like she needs to be around other kids at this point. She's getting ready to be 2, and you need breaks. Like when I'm off, I need to be able to take her to daycare so that I can have, you know, like my day to myself. And I had posted a video on TikTok, girl, and it was like a couple of people that had went into a frenzy. That was like, you send your baby to daycare on your off day? Yes, ma'am. And don't feel bad about it. I don't feel bad about it at all, because they get their money. Ain't no part-time daycare, nothing. It's one price and they get their money, so she's going. But yeah, so my mom was like, we had to put her in daycare and you have to get yourself together. So I got Callie in daycare. I started going to the gym. I started journaling, like listening to podcasts. Like my life, I felt so much better. It was like a weight had been lifted off my shoulder, and it literally, like, y'all are looking at me today in this space purely by God's grace. Like God really was like, he put it in my face. He was like, Brandy, you know, like, what they said, faith without work is dead. So I had to put in the work, and you know, I started to strengthen my relationship with God. And I just started to focus on myself and my baby, like making life great for us. That's what I started to focus on. I started to post more on TikTok because TikTok was really like an outlet for me, and I don't think like a lot of people know that, because I used to post on YouTube like skincare videos and stuff back in the day. And when TikTok came about and I seen people doing like the skincare videos and stuff, I was like, oh my God, I could do this, because it's short form, right? And like it's quick. So I started doing the self-care videos on TikTok, and it was like therapy to me, because it's like, wow, like I felt like I was getting a piece of myself back. Like, yeah, this is what I like to do, like film and just pamper myself. Like, yeah, this is what I like to do. So it was perfect for me. Then I started to get like brand deals and stuff, and things just started to get better. Like things just started to get better. My fitness is now a really huge part of my life and a huge part of my routine, and I never thought I would see the day. I never thought I would see the day that I say that, but I absolutely love going to the gym. I do Pilates now, but it's just so like clarifying for me. Like the mental clarity is impeccable, and I feel better when I get up in the morning and I wake up before Callie, and I have time, like some peace and quiet before I wake her up. And then I get her up, and you know, I get her ready and I go to work. Well, I drop her off at school, and then I go to work, and then get off, go pick her up, come home, do our routine, make her dinner, give her a bath. We read books. I go in her playroom and she like plays dress up, and we just have, you know what I'm saying, like it's just me and my baby. That's my girl. And now, you know, as far as relationship goes, like I'm just not in a space where I am prioritizing those type of relationships right now. I'm just really focused on getting myself together in this healing journey. And this, I know it's going to be like something that's for life, you know, like you're going to be forever evolving, forever healing. So I just try to take that into consideration. But like right now, it's just me and my baby, and I don't know, like I feel good. And I feel, when I look back, like I'm just really so glad, and I'm so thankful that God was able to bring me out of that situation, because I was hurting really bad. Like I was really hurt. And it was like I was a first time mom, a new mom. I'm like, am I even gonna be able to be a good mom to my baby? Like, that's why I had to get myself together. I had to get myself together. I was like, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up and me and my mom were like really close, and I feel like I had a really good childhood, and it's like I don't want to rob my baby of that experience or better. You understand what I'm saying? So I had to get myself together. I was like, suck it up, you know, it's gonna be okay. And I continue to keep God first and order my steps in his word. And even now, like, and it gets difficult sometimes, it gets lonely sometimes, but I just try to, every day I wake up and I'm like, I thank God for the day, and I just see it as an opportunity, right? Because he brought me this far. Like, he brought me this far. So yeah, that was it. I think I touched on everything. I will chat with you guys in the comments. Let me know if y'all have any other questions. The next video that we're gonna do is really gonna be about like home ownership and how I manage like day-to-day life and things like that. And of course, I will get back into the vlogs. I'm so excited. There'll be a vlog posted next Sunday. But yeah, I love you guys, and I hope y'all really enjoyed this video. I enjoyed our chit chat, and I can't wait to chop it up with y'all in the comments. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.